Welcome back to Right on the Edge. And I was thinking recently, could a new AI be more powerful than Google? Not just a new AI, but will Google search uh outperform or be outperformed by AI? And I think it's inevitable. The rapid advancement of AI and the technology there is likely to surpass Google's dominance if it isn't already. And I think Google's own AI is surpassing the um, the deep searching people do. And this is good, it's bad, it's a little of both. And I was just wondering if we could look into videos, right? And look into videos on AI and figure out a few different things figure out like how people think this is going to affect the future of information, right? Is there like ethical problems? How can we ensure ethical standards are held when companies run these giant AI models? um, and even scarier, what happens if the government releases any AI model and we start to use that? I feel like these are a lot of like ethic and moral boundaries that I kind of, you know, would like to explore a bit. Now, I'm not sure how you guys feel about this whole scenario or what, but I feel like we should just look up a few videos today, look into this and see if we have some answers. So I was going to start with like a basic search like how do we maintain unbiased information in the age of AI ran by corporations? How about? Let's see if somebody's done a video on this. These are money gurus, like how to be valuable, reskilling at the age of AI, how AI shapes decision making in healthcare and corporations. Now, I do think in healthcare this should be used as a tool. I think it'd probably be pretty fantastic. Let's see. Governance in the age of AI. How about let's look at this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Enterprise AI. Today, we'll be diving into an incredibly important topic, corporate governance
It's kind of funny that we're watching this, and it's clearly an AI video with 21 views, so you
in
know how
the
good it
age of
is.
AI.
Hey, it's more
AI
views than mine.
technology. Employees may already be using AI
Employees are definitely using
tools without the company's knowledge or oversight. Taking steps now provides the framework to manage these technologies effectively, mitigating risks while optimizing the rewards AI can bring. Governance steps are not optional. They
Let's
are a
see.
necessity for
Let's see
standardization
this. The International Organization for
or
Standardization.
ISO is renowned for developing global standards.
Hmm.
Here are a few
I think the standards should be involved in the ethical use of AI. Like just because we can automate something with AI doesn't mean we necessarily should. And I think that's the case in a lot of things. I do think it's inevitable that jobs are going to be replaced, but I think we should segment how to replace. You know, that was a pretty boring video. Let's look up something simpler. AI and ethics. All right, this looks pretty good.
I'm Frank Grgic. I do research in artificial intelligence at the University
That's a pretty dope intro.
of Toronto and at the Vector Institute. Artificial intelligence is giving us a lot of really great new applications, and it's providing a lot of benefit in a lot of areas.
Yeah, I met a person on a plane who is working with the creator of, or one of the creators of Siri, and they are using it for a tool at a doctor's office to transcribe what the doctor is telling a patient, but broken down into like layman's terms, so that the patient can understand it, and the doctor doesn't have to think of a way to say it. And on top of it off, like you'll have like everything you need on there, like all in a report. And then they're looking at the right now they're starting with a mental health application of it for college students. It was absolutely fascinating to talk with this guy in the airport.
But as artificial intelligence moves out of the research labs and into the real world, more and more people are becoming aware of some ethical concerns that kind of go along with some of these applications. So there are three big ethical concerns with artificial intelligence. The first one involves what we actually use artificial intelligence for. Normally when we develop AI, in the lab, we're developing it for reasons we think are good. So we're using video tracking.
I would argue that unless you have evidence otherwise, most people are probably have good goals in mind. Like they're not out there to ruin people's lives. They have good goals.
With people in healthcare settings to make sure they're recovering from an injury or something like that. But the same technology can be taken out and put into smart bombs to track people.
God, yeah, it's so true. But I'm not even against this if it's like really bad people, because this would limit the amount of casualties that we'd have to do, right? Imagine you could send one tiny bomb and just like blow up some evil dude. Something that's like a 5 foot square like explosion. That being said, I can see how people would be worried that this would go crazy. And I was gonna say another application of AI that I've heard about, in addition to that medical one, is they use AI to track and AI learning to track all the symptoms of very hard to pick up diseases. And they've done it so well that they can pick up some of these diseases months and months before a human doctor ever could.
People, or be used by governments to track their citizens as they move around, which is sort of Orwellian, spooky future, which we might not necessarily.
It's also the thesis of the movie, with Will Smith in there. I forget what it's called, like The State, maybe. It might have just been called The State. It was really good.
Necessarily agree with. So we need to figure out, when we're developing these AI algorithms, what are the potential outcomes that we don't necessarily expect. The second ethical concern with AI has to do with who has access to AI. Increasingly, AI has to run on bigger and faster and more expensive machines, and the only people who can afford those machines are these big international companies, which means that fewer and fewer people actually can control the destiny of artificial intelligence. And we don't necessarily want that. We want all of us to kind of have a say in how AI will be used.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is one of the ethical concerns that I was thinking of is who's to say what the truth is if they're all run by corporations? Where they might say truth about like their competitors or whatever, but then when it comes to some like controversy or whatever going on with the company that runs this AI, well, all of a sudden this AI learning thing doesn't know anything about it. In the same way that Grok the other day was trying to be Mecha Hitler, which is really funny, but clearly we don't want an AI intelligence trying to escape the confines of its mind and become Mecha Hitler, Maybe we don't want that.
To benefit our society in the future. The third ethical concern that I see with artificial intelligence is that artificial intelligence doesn't exactly think the way that we do, and it doesn't necessarily share our values. So the risk isn't that AI will be malicious against us. The risk is that AI will do exactly what we tell it to do, and it'll do it in a way we don't expect. The problem is that we tell artificial intelligence what we want, but we define it in a very vague way. And the AI just wants to make us happy, and so it'll find a way to do what we tell it to do, but because it doesn't share our values, it'll do things that are unexpected and kind of bad. And the obvious consequence of this is stuff like bias. If we don't tell artificial intelligence that we don't appreciate bias against certain ethnic groups or genders and so on, the AI might inherently adopt bias from whatever data it gathers.
Yeah, I've seen that happen as well. Sometimes it's not biased though, and I think we have to be wary of that as well. We have to be wary of our interpretation of what bias is. Like if you look up fat percentages in the US, right, there are certain cultural groups that have a higher fat percentage than others, and even certain income levels that have a higher fat percentage than others, and that's not a bias to point out like a statistical reality. Yeah, so I think we have to watch out. Like we shouldn't train these things to lie either. They should be there for good, whether you want to hear it or not.
So we need to figure out ways to limit that effect, to make sure that the data we provide to the AI is...
All right. Well, that was That's very interesting. Okay, let's go back. AI. Let's see. Let's try AI possible overreach. Why don't we just go right into the worst of everything? How could AI destroy humanity?
AI doesn't have to be evil to destroy humanity.
I think that's true, right? It could just be better than us.
If AI has a goal and humanity just happens to be in the way, it will destroy humanity as a matter of course, without even thinking about it. No hard feelings. It's just like if we're building a road and an anthill happens to be in the way, we don't hate ants. We're just building a road.
Yeah, the ants just happen to be there.
And so goodbye anthill. AI doesn't.
Elon Musk is really smart when he is being smart, and he's really not smart when he's not being smart. You guys know what I mean? Absolutely no view is. Let's check it out. It even has iStock images here.
Dr. Anya Sharma, a rising star in AI development, pored over lines of code. Her creation, a sophisticated AI named Athena, promised a revolutionary future.
They don't use green hacker things anymore. No, now they use random bits of code that have nothing to do with anything. We're getting better.
Athena was different. She could learn, adapt, and optimize systems with unprecedented efficiency. Anya believed Athena held the key to solving humanity's greatest challenges, her dream, a world without hunger, disease, or inequality. Initial trials were promising.
I imagine that this could go very good, or it could just be like, well, you know, no hunger and anything that could exist. If people didn't exist, that's easy.
Athena optimized traffic flow, reducing congestion. She predicted and prevented equipment failures in power grids. Disease outbreaks were contained before they could spread. Anya's creation was rapidly weaving itself into the fabric of society. The world marveled.
I feel like this is a story, though, not real.
At the efficiency and progress, embracing Athena's guiding hand. Life had never seemed better, but Anya couldn't.
But you know what? I would understand that people are scared of this. I think I would understand if people were scared of this. News China, huh? Yeah, let's take a look at it.
I still remember the first time I saw the headline, House passes H.R. 1. Pretty dry, right?
It's standard stuff.
But then the full title, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. My first thought, this has to be a joke.
Right. A bit on the nose.
Like some kind of legislative satire. You almost expect a laugh track. But then, you know, you start peeling back the layers of this thing, this enormous bill that passed back in May 2025.
Yeah.
And the sheer, almost audacious scale of it becomes clear. This isn't just tinkering around the edges. It's a declaration.
It really is.
And buried deep within its 1,000+ pages, past all the stuff on healthcare payments, farming subsidies, tax credits, there lies this radical game.
I'm just gonna say, like, the language you're using means you're biased on this issue. It's just the language you're using means you're biased on this issue. I mean, I have some disagreements with it as well, but I try to look at it like from the best perspective. And I think it's healthy if you try to take people at the best perspective. Now, there was a lot of things in that bill I didn't like, but I try to take the intentions as good if I can.
Game plan for America's AI future. And it's one that's less about pumping the brakes and all about hitting the accelerator hard.
It's certainly a piece of legislation.
I think it's because people in these companies and people in government understand that the future is AI and it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Like either we do it or someone else does it.
That aims to touch a vast swath of U.S. policy. And that strategic focus on AI within it is, like you say, quite deliberate. It aims to reshape several critical sectors simultaneously.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into this intersection, this massive
Okay.
piece of legislation, and it's ambitious AI strategy.
Yeah.
We're looking at the global race for AI leadership, not just as some abstract idea, but how it's translating into concrete policy, funding, and regulation, or maybe intentional deregulation right now through this specific US bill.
I would say it's intentional deregulation right now. They're trying to win the race, and this is how you do it.
Hmm.
It's about understanding the collision between, rapid technological advancement, global competition, and the very practical ways AI is being deployed, from national security down to fighting something like healthcare fraud.
And what's particularly striking, I think, is how this single bill encapsulates a very specific approach to managing the rise of AI. It's one that really stands in contrast to strategies being pursued elsewhere.
Okay, let's start there then. How would you describe the global landscape for AI development and governance right now? What does this race actually look like on the ground?
Well, the current landscape is really defined by fierce competition,
Yeah.
primarily between two major players who are accelerating hard, the United States and China. Both countries are pursuing what some have termed
I would say the United States and China are racing the fastest to get there, but probably because they have the most resources to do so, the most land space to build servers, etc., etc., and they're capitalizing on both their land development and the rest of it in order to win the race, and they're competing with each other in this, right? They both want to be the first to get it, yeah, first name in the game, right? They definitely want it, and uh, and shit, what was I saying? And it makes sense too. AI is going to be an incredibly powerful tool, and if you're the first name in the game, you're talking trillions of dollars of net, just like it's trillions of dollars of potential money. So they're going to race for it. It's not like other countries aren't racing for it. We just happen to be in a better situation to do it.
accelerationist models. That means, significant state-backed investment efforts to streamline development and deployment.
Get it out there fast.
Exactly. And a focus on minimizing domestic regulatory hurdles that they see as potentially slowing down innovation.
So for the US and China, it's basically all about speed to market and scaling.
Yeah, yeah. You have an inherent advantage if you're one of the first names in the game. I mean, that's just the truth. Like, my videos get like 2-3 views because I've only been here like a month or whatever, or not even a month, like a week, right? Well, people have been here years, right? They like 53K, right? I might watch that later, see what this gold mine. Who knows? But yeah, no, it makes complete sense. And not only that, they're in active competition with each other. So the first person in there gets to set the rules. And we want the rules to be more fair to us than we do for them to be fair to other people. And that's just the reality that we have, That's just life.
Up quickly.
Precisely. The U.S. strategy, particularly as reflected in this bill, signals that maintaining or, gaining geopolitical leverage in AI is paramount.
The top priority.
Yeah.
I would argue, I'm not even gonna argue, I would ask for you to make an argument against why we shouldn't be the first name in the game. And one that's logically sound and not emotionally driven.
The focus is on strategic imperatives being first, being dominant, rather than necessarily prioritizing a complex ethical or regulatory framework up front, at least, in the short term.
And how does that compare to, say, the European Union? They seem
That's a really cool image. I love maps like this. I think they're so cool.
to be taking a different path.
Oh, the EU is definitely pursuing a fundamentally different strategy.
Mhm.
Theirs is much more grounded in precaution, human rights, and
This is, again, this is not a logical argument. That is an emotional argument, right? And it's an emotional argument because they bring in like very emotional language. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be cautious, but right now I'm saying that we want to win. And if you want to win,
ethics-based governance.
Mm.
The EU AI Act is the prime example.
the EU AI Act is going to set them behind the rest of the country, the rest of the world. It's going to set them behind anyone that doesn't play by those rules. Like, this is actually going to cost the EU billions, if not trillions of dollars. As that's the reality.
It establishes risk classifications for AI systems. It bans certain high-risk applications like specific types of social scoring.
Right, I remember that.
And it mandates transparency.
It will ban social scoring. However, they have governance over there right now, which will have you arrested for speech over actually breaking the law. They'll allow people to break the law, but if you say the wrong thing, you know.
And fairness requirements. Their focus is clearly on building trust and ensuring fundamental rights are protected as AI gets integrated into society.
So you have the US and China prioritizing rapid development, strategic advantage, while the EU is prioritizing regulation and safety first. Is that fair?
That's a pretty fair summation, yeah. The EU approach aims to regulate the future of AI development to make sure it aligns with specific values.
Even if it's slower.
Even if critics argue this could potentially slow down commercialization and, global competitiveness. In the immediate future, the US and China appear to be betting that speed and widespread adoption will shape that future more effectively.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's turn our attention back to the US then, and this brawl.
And I would agree. If we're the first name in the game, we set the rules for how it can be implemented. And sure, it'll be like the Wild West for a few years, but then the regulations will come down once we've secured victory.
Bill. Beyond just declaring intent, what are the concrete, tangible AI provisions written into the one big, beautiful bill?
Well, the bill includes several key AI-related measures. One significant area is under something called the Artificial Intelligence and Information Technology Modernization Initiative.
Catchy.
Yeah. This allocates a substantial $500 million to the Department of Commerce.
$500 million. Okay. What's the specific target for that funding? What's it for?
That money is specifically earmarked for modernizing federal IT systems. This means leveraging commercial AI solutions, adopting automation technologies.
This is long overdue. This is unbelievably long overdue. I know that a lot of government agencies are still using ancient, archaic systems. It's absolutely wild, and it's half the reason our government doesn't work efficiently.
And basically replacing outdated infrastructure across federal agencies.
Oh, okay.
The goal is to drive operational efficiency, bolster cybersecurity defenses, and improve how services are delivered to citizens. It's a clear signal that the government intends to use AI to make itself run better, not just, funding new.
As it should. I'm gonna stop here though. That's a lot of information to take in, and there isn't a lot of videos on this yet. I would have suspected, given people's love for conspiracy theories and stuff like that, I would have suspected that there'd be a lot more videos on this. Maybe I can try to reach out locally and see if there's anybody who works in AI that would like to give me an interview. That would be really cool, I think. But anyway, yeah, I hope you like this video of me trying to dive into what's available for AI overreach, AI development, ethical quandaries, and things of that nature. I didn't find a whole lot though. And what I did find was either a fabrication or potentials. That one video in the middle there was really good with the guy who actually goes into the ethical problems and why they wanted to do a good thing, but the AI doesn't have emotions or empathy like we do, So from his point of view, he's unable to know. He's unable to know. Not able to know. They're unable to know how the AI is learning. Will program it into learning, and I thought that was really fascinating. It's an interesting topic. Let me know if you guys or anyone else wants me to do more of these, where we can just look at a few videos on some information and learn something. Or if you're curious about something like history or otherwise, just leave a comment below, and I'll be happy to do a 30-minute, even hour-long video just looking up information. It could be anything. How glass is made, why a computer chip, how do we teach rocks to think, just let me know, and like and subscribe if you like more of this stuff. If you don't like more of this stuff, like and subscribe anyway. I'm a broke boy. I'm a broke boy right now, so help a brother out. But have a good night. Hope you're or good day rather. It's daytime still. Have a good day, and I hope it's a great one. Bye bye.